Hey everybody, meteorologist Brad Penovich here, getting ready for the weekend for SkiSoutheast.com, and as we expected, it's warming up and getting wet again. It's been a weird pattern in December, but if you watch me, you know I've been talking about this. Cold and snowy in the middle of the weeks, warm and wet on the weekends, and yet again this week we've got another pattern just like that. So you can see, as we take a look at this, I'm going to actually move my face out of the way here so you can see me a little better. You see the pattern here. We've got this big storm system heading our way this weekend. It's going to be warm ahead of it. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be warm, humid air surging in from the south. This will be rain. It will melt some of our base, unfortunately, but here's the glimmer of hope, or maybe the silver lining. Sunday night, look at the backside. Cold air starts spilling in. This could be a nice, heavy burst of wet, heavy snow on Sunday night, and as the cold air continues to spill in Monday morning, not only will the northwest flow snow continue, but there will be some cold temperatures for snowmaking. So whatever base we lose this weekend, just like the past couple of weeks during the week, we'll be able to replenish it. But unlike this week, there's going to be several days of snowmaking opportunities. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday. Might have a little bit of an inversion set up in the higher elevations, which snowmakers know what I mean. It's colder at the bottom and warmer at the top. That could happen by the end of the week. So high pressure overhead kind of sets up those inversions, and we're probably going to see that late in the week. And then going into next weekend, it looks like we'll have to keep an eye on another system out west, but things do look like they warm up a little bit. So how much snow are we talking about? Let's show you the totals again. All this is going to happen after the rain. So Friday, Saturday into Sunday, it starts as rain but changes to snow. We zoom in on areas in the Carolinas. You see the Smokies. I wish there was a resort there, 2 to 4. Roan Mountain, Beach Mountain, 2 to 4 possibly. Mount Rogers area, but generally 1 to 2 inches. Winter Place, probably 1 to 2, outside chance of 3. And then West Virginia resorts up into western Maryland. You're probably looking at a couple spots. Timberline, Canaan Valley, up towards Wisp, and then Snowshoe, obviously, could end up with 4 to 6 inches of snow. So another good winter for those northeastern southeast resorts. I say northeast, it's like northeast of the southeast, basically our northern resorts here in the southeast. I want to look at the long range pattern because as I laid out in my winter forecast, if you watched it, and I've been talking about this, December is going to be about extremes. We're going to go from cold snaps and feels like it's going to be winter, then back to spring, and then back to cold, then back to spring. The trough ridge setup seems to be bouncing around, but something interesting is showing up in the long range, that the polar vortex might weaken. And one of the things I want to talk about is the polar vortex. So you hear everybody talk about the polar vortex. There's a great new blog that the Climate Prediction Center and climate.gov is doing where they talk about the polar vortex. People kind of don't understand it. They hear the term, they think, it's cold, right? No, in fact, when the polar vortex is strong, we don't see cold air. It gets all bottled up. In fact, when we get cold air, it's when the polar vortex weakens. So remember, the polar vortex doesn't cause the cold air, or I should say, isn't the cold air itself. It's what releases the cold air. It's the cause, not the effect. So the polar vortex doesn't move down into the United States. It just weakens and allows for polar air to come south. And what you're looking at here on the screen is a 35-day forecast of what the polar vortex might do. And weakening polar vortex winds, you notice these areas down here, that's a sign of a weakening polar vortex, which typically means cold air coming south. This is an ensemble model, so you see all the squiggly lines. Those are all the different variations. So some are way down here, like record territory. Some went high, but the average is lower going into early January. And this is kind of what I talked about in my winter forecast. This winter, El Nino winter, is going to be about January, February, March. And there are signs the polar vortex is going to weaken as we go into the end of December and early January, which typically means cold air comes south. We don't always know where, but in this case, it's a good sign if you want cold and snow for the lower 48. We'll just have to see where it goes, but I like the fact that it's weakening and there's strong signals that that's going to happen around the holidays into the first of the year. So we'll talk more about that, but I thought I'd give you a little tease of the long range stuff as we get excited for the new year. So let's quickly show you the forecast going into the next couple of days. I'll drop my head back down here. Again, we'll be melting snow here Friday, Saturday, probably start of Sunday. Then natural snow developing late Sunday into Monday, and then next week, some snowmaking opportunities. So just like the last couple of weeks, the weekend going into the weekend looks kind of warm, and then coming out of the weekend, we go back to cold. That pattern looks to be in place for at least another week or two. Hopefully around Christmas, New Year's, we'll start to see signs of more consistent cold air. As always, have a great weekend and keep thinking snow.